Hello and welcome back to another video. I am so glad that you're here. On this channel, I talk about news, controversies, and drama on the bookish side of the internet, and I certainly hope you'll stick around. So before we get started, as a side note, I have been writing this script for a couple of weeks now, so some of this you may have already heard. I know a lot of you don't venture onto some parts of the internet that I talk about on here, so I'm just giving you everything I have, even if some of it is a few weeks outdated, but I'll update. So in this video, we are talking yet again about Britt Andrews. If you just happen to stumble across this video, I highly recommend clearing your schedule and going back to watch the first 4 parts, as this won't really make much sense otherwise. I will link part 1 up here, and then the rest of them will be linked down below in the description, and yes, this is part 5. Well, what do you know? We actually got an update, and apparently the book is magically finished. So here is what the update says. And this was on June 25th. Hey everyone, after a long road of rewrites, resilience, and some serious soul-searching, I can finally say it. I did it! The Demons of Port Black duet is done. Demons in My Head is finished. I typed the end on a story that's lived inside me for years, through chaos, through healing, through everything life threw at me. And now it's almost ready to be yours. How exactly did she manage to finish this so quickly when a few short months ago she had only a couple of chapters? According to her last post, when she slammed her laptop shut and shouted, "That's it!" She still had a lot left to do, yet now it's almost ready to be yours. So, I promised a dramatic reading if we ever got the book, so now I will give the one-woman performance that I agreed to. "Ferris," he interrupted, wiping his mouth and matching my crouch. "Blood mage, and you're one of the exiled, the unhinged one." "Talon," I growled, tail lashing, "and I'm perfectly hinged, thank you very much." He barked a laugh. "Well, I'm fucking not hinged, not even 1%. And you're the demon currently perched like a gargoyle with produce as weapons." I glanced at the apple still clutched in my hand. Fair point, so I ate it, core and all, maintaining eye contact right back at him. Okay, that is enough of that. So here's the rest of the update after the sneak peek. While the manuscript goes into final editing and then formatting, I've got some more news. Tumblr's keychains and bookmarks have been delivered and will soon be in production. They're with the amazing Mandy, who's handling fulfillment like a badass, and every item will be created to match the heart and grit of this book. It's real, it's happening. As soon as I have some finished designs, I'll post them here for you all to see. With the story being done, I can now figure out which scenes I want to be depicted in art. I've been talking to artists and finding ones who can fully bring these characters to life. I am so excited. Printing of the actual books will be discussed soon. Without a final page count, I can't make an informed decision quite yet about where they will be printed. Just know that I will use a state-signed printer if I have to due to tariffs. I want to provide the best quality product I can, and with this phase of the project being finished, the book, I can now focus on all of the logistics. I know this journey has taken longer than expected. There were months of hard life, big losses, and personal pivots. Times when I didn't know how to keep going and I still didn't quit. This story never stopped living in me, and now that it's on the page, I can tell you this, it's the most beautiful thing I've ever written. You backed something that wasn't just a book, it was a promise. And I never forgot that. Thank you for sticking with me. Thank you for your patience, your belief, your pressure, and your fire. It all pushed me, and it reminded me that this wasn't just for me, it was for all of us. I finished the book. Why am I doing this again? The rewards are coming, and I'm already working on what comes next. This isn't just a comeback, it's a full send, and next month I'll be sending every single one of you an ebook. Love and Peens, Britt. P.S. I'm not currently reading comments here or anywhere. That's not out of avoidance, it's a boundary I've had to set while I focus on fulfillment, healing, and finishing strong. This update was from the heart, and I trust that the vast majority of you received it in the same spirit. If you've got a kind word or good energy to send, trust that I feel it. I appreciate you more than you know. Okay, so a lot to comment on here. I am gonna go back through this update with my every thought, but I figured I'd lay it all out before I start interrupting myself over and over. Okay, so she says tumblers, keychains, and bookmarks have been delivered and will soon be in production. So I'm assuming these are the type of thing that will be put together manually by her and her people, not like manufactured. And I'm not going to speculate if that indicates lower quality or not, but it does feel strange to be hyping people up saying they've been delivered and then in the next sentence say that they haven't been designed yet. And I don't know. Given how half-assed she's done most things, I'm sure that this DIY hack job will not be cute. And speaking of designs, she states that she can now decide what scenes she wants depicted for artwork. And to that I say, Britt, girlfriend, best of luck finding someone to work with you. Because it's all over the internet how in your author life and your restaurateur life and your personal life, you consistently solicit services that you never pay for. And if someone actually does agree to work with her, I certainly hope that someone fills them in on all that Britt has done, because I would really hate to see another person get scammed. Okay, so I understand that once a book is written, it still needs to be formatted, but why would the page count be so important to figuring out what printer to use? Because I assume, the number of pages will depend on what the final price is, but if she's determined to provide the absolute best quality, it feels like she would already have an idea of what she was doing. I might be being overly harsh and nitpicky, but I have a really hard time not being critical of everything she does at this point. And as far as that PS she wrote, that just pisses me off. Preserving mental health is important, yes. But the people who have been scammed have a right to say what they need to say. And this entire time, she's completely avoided and silenced every bit of criticism, and it is infuriating. Like I said, mental health is important, but it's not the only thing that's important. Fulfilling orders that people have paid you for 2 years ago is also important. Or give them their money back. That's the thing with these people, these authors that I've been talking about. It's just like you could solve all of this by just giving people their money back. So, moving on. Why do we still not have even a whisper of a release date? Why wouldn't that be one of the first things she said if she did in fact finish the book? I know she said ebooks would be sent out next month, but I'm skeptical of that. And additionally, the ebook was an add-on, so not everyone paid for it. So if I had paid for it and others didn't and still got a copy, I'd be frustrated by that. She's also been reporting comments on her Kickstarter updates as well. And you can see that people's comments says this comment is under review for potentially violating Kickstarter's community guidelines. Just tons of them. And one of these people actually got banned from commenting for like a week, I think. And between her reporting these comments and then also blocking those with negative comments on her group pages and only approving certain posts in her group, she's literally given the people she scammed nowhere to voice their frustrations. And it's really sad, and it just really enforces the kind of person that she is. So here are some of the comments that she hasn't reported yet. Wow, you have reported all the comments calling you out. Shame on you, Britt. That's disgusting. Doesn't bode well that I see every comment say that it's under review for possible violation of community guidelines when I know the majority of the comments are expressing concern. Really solidifies not wanting this book and really wanting my refund. Please, for the love is all that is good, give me a refund on this project. I do not want this book anymore. I have messaged you privately and have heard nothing. And what's this about not reading any messages or comments? Sounds more like an excuse to not take responsibility for your lies and lack of commitment. Give us what we want and put this disappointing project to rest. None of this has been the exclusive experience that we were promised. You extend the Kickstarter on Jotform for the same exclusive items that were meant to be backers only the same month that the early ebook was supposed to be emailed to those that did the add-on. Your superfans get first dibs on info and sneak peeks, including teasers, and if anyone dares bring concerns to your group, they get the boot, thus removing access to info that should be shared here first. Now everyone who backed is getting an early copy of the ebook? Okay, so run everyone back the $6 for this add-on. Britt babes, do me a favor and look up toxic parasocial relationships. Not all parasocial relationships are toxic, it's a slippery slope. But the one you're fostering between you and the remaining readers who support you, it absolutely is toxic. You should never want to be on a pedestal, But that's where these fans have placed you, and you love it there. It's sad, disappointing, and disgusting. You've love-bombed these people, overshared sensitive personal information. That one, yes. So they feel like they're special and different than the readers who are speaking out. This is dangerous when the fallout happens, and I really hope no one takes it real life. This isn't a threat. I'm all the way in Arizona and have no plans to come to Ohio, but there are readers that probably are more local to you and are still drinking the Flavorade. But what happens if you fail to deliver on all the promises you made and hyped up to them? What happens when the blinders come off and they realize that they went hard for someone who happily ran off with their money and started a cycle of gaslighting and promises that were never delivered on? This is me being concerned for your actual safety because you're playing a very dangerous game. This is me telling you the reasons you should stop with the parasocial relationship manipulation ASAP, deliver on your promises to them, and not do something like this again. You've gotten away with it thus far, but eventually you're gonna get caught in the web of lies you've weaved. Not kinda, full sus that you didn't write for 2 years, but magically in 2 weeks a book is complete. You didn't overcome a block, you got backlash and think it's going to quiet us if you have a finished book, so you started to use AI and ChatGPT to help you write the book. Any real fan would be able to tell the complete difference between your writing style and this shit. Using AI is a slap to the face of any of your author and artist friends. I hope you know that, Britt baby. Tumblr's keychains and bookmarks have been delivered and will soon be in production. What does this even mean? They've been delivered, but they will be produced soon? To be delivered, they had to have already been produced. That's what I'm saying. They're with the amazing Mandy, who's handling fulfillment like a badass, and every item will be created to match the heart and grit of this book. It's real, it's happening, and as soon as I have some finished designs, I'll post them here for you all to see. I hate to tell you this, as well as your remaining supporters here, but you have already shared some of these final products outside of this Kickstarter, and not even here. You have blocked me from your groups, and I also deserve to have you show them to me, not others that are still in the group. This is your responsibility to show me as a paying customer. Printing of the actual books will be discussed soon. Without a final page count, I can't make an informed decision quite yet about where they will be printed. Just know that I will use a stateside printer if I have to, due to tariffs. I want to provide the best quality product I can, and with this phase of the project being finished, I can now focus on all of the logistics. Once again, how do you plan to pay for this? Even printing it within the US is going to be expensive. Prices have risen since you have gotten your last quote, and I thought the printing location was decided years ago. You are pulling things out of your ass at this point. This story never stopped living in me, and now that it's on the page, I can tell you this: it's the most beautiful thing I've ever written. What is presented to us here is complete and utter shit. Your real fans, who you have betrayed, can tell the difference in writing, and this is clearly not you. It's a full send, and next month, I'll be sending every single one of you an ebook. I want my full $332, but also not everyone purchased an ebook. I demand the refund that I paid for that ebook. I hope you get sued out of your ass. You backed something that wasn't just a book, it was a promise, and I never forgot that. Thank you for sticking with me. Thank you for your patience, your belief, and your pressure, and your fire. It all pushed me. It reminded me this wasn't just for me, it was for all of us. I am here unwillingly. I want off your fake sob story and your bullshit written AI book. Your art is also very clearly tampered with. Mind you, again, I haven't seen it here, but through other avenues that are valid/confirmed coming from your group, where you are sharing them instead of here. Considering it was a Kickstarter exclusive, it should be shared here. Now, as mentioned in that post, she has started posting in her Emerald Lake Spoilers chat group on Facebook and actually giving them information about the book before even the Kickstarter backers, which is shady as fuck. So this is something that she posted in there. I don't know exactly what date this is, but it was within the last few weeks. I miss you guys so much. While the book is at the editor, I'm cracking down on the jot form stuff. I haven't forgotten, just got sucked into Port Black, and now it's done. Just a reminder, those jot forms were supposed to be done, I think she said 17 to 18 days, and it's been far longer. Oh, and I just finished the character cards, the front side. The back will have stats. I'm going to post it on Kickstarter too, but check this shit out. And then we have these cards. Now, a lot of people have expressed how much they dislike the art style, which isn't in itself a thing, but I haven't read these books, and I'm taking this from what others have said, but these are like dark romances, and so this style of cutesy character just does not seem to fit the book at all. But that aside, more inconsistencies continue to pop up. her best friend, maybe cousin, maybe PA, Kayla, made a very snippy comment to someone inquiring about their pending post in her group from October 2024. Can't see the whole thing, but she replied, and it says, "I'm in the group, but my posts asking this question are pending. One from October 24, and then it cuts off." And Kayla says, "Britt has been very busy writing and dealing with a divorce. She does not have a staff right now, and she's doing what she can. All updates are posted in the group, and if there's no update, that's because there's nothing to say. She's got very, very little time right now for individual responses. And I know that's probably not what you want to hear, but she's doing her best to run 2 businesses, get divorced, and care for her 3 neurodivergent kids by herself." So she also claimed to be getting divorced several months ago, and I'm well aware that these things don't happen overnight. They can be really long, drawn-out process, especially if it's not an amicable divorce. But it doesn't explain why she said this only a few weeks ago. "I'm very sorry I've been MIA. Started my divorce paperwork last week. Yay. Found out my cousin stole thousands from my restaurant. He was my best friend, walked me down the aisle when I got married." There's a bunch of stuff that I'm not going to read because it's not my business. But anyway, she's been in the middle of getting divorced since last year, and yet she also just started paperwork. I get it. It can be a long process, and sometimes it's easier to just be like, "I'm getting divorced," rather than being like, "Oh, I'm filing papers, I haven't done it yet, whatever." But she lies about everything. She can't even keep her own lies straight. And I know that she doesn't owe her readers the details of her personal life, but she's literally used those things as an excuse before, and so I don't like it. So in the same message, she says she's working on a super secret special surprise book that I doubt will ever see the light of day. And since apparently this Facebook message group is the only way anyone questioning her will be heard, this is what started happening with the Jotform refunds. "Has anyone had success with the Jotform refund request put in Britt's group? Been about 17 days for me, and no idea who I can reach out to that might respond." "No, nothing yet for me either. I messaged Britt on Monday, but I haven't had a response yet." At Britt Andrews. "Okay, thanks. I did reply to the Jotform confirmation email I got, so we'll see. I also messaged Britt about a week ago and haven't heard back." And then one of her little fans comments too. So again, utter silence on Britt's end. Color me shocked. So now we can get into some more recent developments. So we actually got another update, if you can believe it, but guess what we don't have? A release date. So here is what she updated on July 10th. "Hey everyone, I wanted to check in with a quick update. Demons in My Head is in the final editing stages, and once that's wrapped, I'll be jumping straight into ebook formatting. We are so dang close now that I can hardly handle the excitement. I'll be sharing more details, including a specific release date and how each of you will get your ebook delivered soon. I'll believe it when I see it. In the meantime, here's the artwork for the character cards. A backside will be added that has each character's stats and info. I think they're adorable. This second book was so full of character development and growth, it made these psychos even more amazing." Here are the pictures of the character cards, but we will get back to those in a second. Here's a new teaser for you guys too. Wonder which POV this one is. I'm not going to read that. "It's almost time, people. Back to editing I go. Lovin' Peens, Britt." So, I just want to make this perfectly clear. I am absolutely not accusing her of using AI or a ghostwriter. I'm simply questioning why the style of her writing has changed so drastically. So I have not read any of her books, but according to the many former fans, the flow and style of the book is completely different than anything she's previously written. I want to make sure I don't get a copyright strike, so I'm not going to read any of it aloud. But I did read a few pages from her previous book in this series, and I agree that it doesn't seem like these were written by the same person. And just reading her updates read a lot differently than these book excerpts. So once again, that is simply my opinion, and I'm not accusing her of anything. I'm just explaining my perception from the outside. Okay, so I also want to talk about these character cards. So this was the initial design that was posted in the update on October 11th, 2023. And this is what she's showing now. So decent difference there. This one is pixelated. It's got a weird ass background. It looks like she took some really well done designs and then tried to make them something. So here's one of the character, Talon. And again, she's done the same thing. And it just looks bad. And that is absolutely not a slight to the artist. I think that the artist did a fantastic job, and even if it isn't my personal taste, it does seem like that is the style that was intended. And I think she just kind of messed them up. Like, I don't know what's happening here. I'm sure there are people who are going to say I'm being nitpicky, but I just don't trust her, and I don't know. I'm not giving her wiggle room. I am being nitpicky, basically. Another thing that I might be called nitpicky for. So last July, Britt attended a tattoo convention where she got this done. It's beautiful, and it seems to cover her entire calf. So now, even if you have tattoos, I have tattoos, it's tough to estimate how much different artists will charge, but I do want to mention a few things. The artist that did this is the owner of the studio he tattoos at, which generally means his work is going to cost more. And additionally, tattoos at conventions tend to be more expensive because artists are covering their booth fees, travel, etc. So for something this large with that much shading and color, I would personally estimate no less than $600 to $700. And again, that is just my wild guess based on my own experience with getting tattooed. And I do think that that might be on the low end, but feel free to chime in if you have different opinions. I also know that, different parts of the country, different experiences are all going to be different, but he owns his own place, which generally indicates he has a lot of experience, and this would be more pricey. And to be clear, I did click on her name in this tagged post to make sure it was not some other Britt Andrews. All of that to say, at that point, she had been holding her backers' money hostage for nearly a year with nothing produced. She had recently purchased a restaurant, she was not paying contractors, suppliers, lawyers, she was ignoring collaborators. And I'm not saying that she has to sit at home and do zero fun things in her life, but a tattoo is not a necessity. And when you have people's money, you should not be throwing hundreds of dollars around when you haven't fulfilled what was promised. Now, I'm at the point in this series where Britt isn't really giving me enough to give you a long video, so this might be just me digging too deep, but I came across these Facebook posts she was tagged in when I was looking for her page. So someone named Kristen Bentolin posted "recruited by Britt Andrews" and gave his link, and this cover of a book called Recruited that is Radical Reformatory Book 1. This appears to be a cover she commissioned for a book that doesn't exist. I have no idea anything beyond that, but I did speak with one of her former diehard fans who also had no idea what this was. And again, I did make sure this was the same Britt Andrews by clicking on the link, which directed to her page, and because she commented. She said, "I'm so in love with this, you're the best." And there's also this one, and both of these have different series names, so they weren't even meant to be a new series together, like book 1 and book 2. So that's just gets confusing to me. I could see this being another case of her getting ahead of herself, and in the Kickstarter, she had artwork done and she had a cover ready to go, and the book was years away from completion. So I feel like maybe just pumping out all these books in just a few years was too much, and the burnout was going to inevitably happen. It's not an excuse, and she did nothing to help herself by buying a whole restaurant. Maybe this is the secret super surprise book that she had? I don't know. So this is another book that actually did get published, but was supposed to be a series. And I know this whole thing at this point is just an irredeemable mess, but I just don't understand why she didn't write some standalone books. Did she forget you can do that? Because it feels like this whole thing would have been a lot more manageable, and I think it also would have been pretty exciting for the readers. So don't really know what else to say about this whole thing until she either releases a book or refunds people's money. So if either of those things happen, I will be here with an update as soon as I can. But until then, it's just more of her same bullshit over and over. But I will always do anything I can to help those that have been scammed. So before I wrap this up, I am so excited to bring you the first edition of my Indie Author Spotlight. And this time I'm featuring author Carlie Coots. They are a queer indie author who writes exceedingly queer books. They have a 9-to-5 in academic publishing and just launched a YouTube writing vlog about balancing all the things that come with running an indie imprint, which I think sounds so cool to learn about. They also love fiber crafts, learning about food history, and used to do work with animals, all of which finds its way into their books. While their books are technically fantasy, they are set in medieval-ish times and mainly focused on friendship, chosen family, and complicated romance. They have written a 6-part series called Slow Moon, which will be out in full by the end of the year and features a plus-size non-binary protagonist and tons of other queer and trans characters. We love to see it. The first volume is Slow Moon, Tall Trees, and they've also just published a novella inspired by Shakespeare's theater scene called The Boy Who Played the Queen. So down in the description is a link to their social media, along with where you can purchase their books if this sounds up your alley. Indie authors are a vital part of this literary community, so make sure you show your support wherever you can, even if that's just a follow on Instagram. If you'd like to be featured in my indie author spotlight, I do have a form linked down in the description. So if you liked this video, give it a thumbs up. If you want to see more just like it, make sure you're subscribed. I do also have a Patreon if you're interested in supporting me over there, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye!